Remember a story my father told us at the Shabbos table about one of the Chassidim in Australia, Rabbi Srebransky. He passed away a couple of years ago. His father, Zalman Srebransky, was the main shliach to Australia. Anyway, so Chaim was in business. And at that time, his business was, he sold confectionery, chocolates and whatever. His whole business consisted of a little van, a little truck, a little Japanese truck. In those days, Australia had was one local manufacturer, and the rest were all Japanese imports. You didn't see American cars in Australia in those days, or any other cars. Anyway, it was a small little Japanese little thing. You know, they look like almost like toy cars. So this was his whole panos. Now, I remember as a kid, a lot of the children in yeshiva, their parents owned, they called milk bars in Australia. Depanneur, the local grocery. You call them milk bars. Why? In a number of children, parents own milk bars. Because Chaim would go and he'd sell his chocolates, whatever he was selling, his wares, and he would convince, they were mostly Holocaust survivors as well, for the most part. Not all, but most. And convince the kids and send the children to yeshiva, which they did. So right there, his whole business was, the kavan, the pnimius of it, was to speak to the parents by sending the children to yeshiva, and Pashat saved generations. Upon him, one Shabbos, the little thing is stolen. His entire parnasa. And he was very poor. My father said you could not see anything on him. Shabbos finished. Businessman. Law ain't shinoi. They wish to provide this way, provide another way. All right. What now? That was number one, the first incredible message. The how on Shabbos he was completely unaffected by it. He told him it's gone. It's packed. He lived next door to the yeshiva. He gets up in the morning, it's not there. Gone. So then, this will be today's story too, Shine. So then, maybe his decision was to get a license to import kosher wine, kedem wine. In those days, there was no wine in Australia. The wine we had as kids was wine that my grandfather made. Everybody made their own wine. I remember as a kid being, the pressing of the grapes, going to our friend's house where the wine was made. So he's going to get a license for kedem wine. For that, you have to go before a court, judge, has to determine three things: that there's a need for it, that you have the business acumen, and you're honest. So my father, this is sometime later, is in the court, and there's rabbis there, and my father's going to testify about that he's an honest person, and a good business, and then understands business, so it's not going to be... So Chaim is the last one to testify. First, the rabbis testified. Now you have to swear, so they wouldn't swear, of course, on the Bible in the court. But downtown, there was a Moishe Kantor's bookstore. They got a Jewish book. They swore on a Jewish book, a Sefer. So everybody thinks everything is going well. Now it's Chaim's turn. So the judge summons him, calls him before the bench. You should take the oath. He says, I'm not taking the oath. Judge says, excuse me. You're not taking the oath. He said, the rabbis did, the businessmen did. He said, take your oath. He said, it's not something that we do. We don't take God's name, even then. And then he says to the judge, if you give me the license, good. And if not, God will provide another way. She says to the judge. So the judge, with his gavel, he calls an early, what's the word? Early recess. And he retires to his chamber. And the people are all abuzz and they were upset with him. Chaim, my father, says to him, and the rabbi says, you're taking an oath, it's emes, said, what's the? He says, no. The Rambam says a person shouldn't take the Abish's name. And he says, they're upset with him. But he held his own, he apologized, and I'm sorry, but the judge comes back and he says to him, calls him, he says to my dear man, he says, you came here to ask for a license to import one company to Kedem wine. If you can stand before me and you can say, you're not taking an oath because of the severity of invoking the name of God, and if I don't give you the license, then that's okay. God will provide your livelihood by some other means. I'll have you know, my friend, you're getting a license today, not just import Kedem wine, but any liquor. You have a blanket license. He became subsequently the biggest importer of general kosher products in Australia. This is what the Maimed is saying. He was not asking for any miracles and didn't get the right, tear heavens apart and the Abish to save me. He told me, you give me, good. If not, I should provide some other way. All right, friends, let's go daven.